What's up YouTube? Today I bring to you the Return of the King, the skill that most people like and that a lot of people always want to play. And it is this skill, Spark Spiders. A lot of people have like a weird fetish with this skill, so they really like Spark. But then there's also people who like Brand a lot, but I did swap to Spark because I'm almost ready to do Delirium on the map device. And you just need 140, so I have 6 more bonus objectives to go. But Spark is probably better than Brand on wide open maps because you can literally just stand in the middle and spark everything. It's also slightly better for, I intend to do this regen New Vestir, and I'm going to buy Legion Scarabs every time, and Spark is miles better than Stormbrand at clearing Legion. So basically you just want to choose a skill based on what type of content you're doing, and the content I'll be doing is probably Delirium map and New Vestir and Burial Chambers. I'm pretty much just sparking and trying to get Legion and getting Legion emblems in addition to the Simulacrum Splinters. And I was also considering farming some Simulacrum, and we all know that Spark is by far the best skill for Simulacrum. So that's why I swapped over to Spark. Now my character is level 97. I did get a few 5-way carries, so that I was able to get some passive points. So I wanted to talk about the passive points I took and just the general gist of how the character is going and what possible upgrades we have at this point. Mostly we are looking for a head on our belt, so getting a lot of upgrades is kind of on hold right now, so it kind of sucks that head hunter is such an important belt. But I should honestly stop spending money and just buy doctor cards and be able to buy the belt ASAP. So maybe I'll buy a belt right after I finish making this video, or buy a doctor card. But if I buy a doctor card, I might be tempted to gamble it. So maybe I shouldn't buy the doctor card. We'll see. But basically today I'm going to go straight into the gear and build overview. And then I'm going to talk about how much the build costs and how... a lot of people ask like how much the build costs, how much do I need to actually start the aura stacker. And I'm going to go into that a little bit, and then I'll maybe show like one fight or so before stopping. So this character's gear, I did upgrade the Nebulous, so it's not the exact same Nebulous. I did get a crit chance for spells. Now I highly value crit chance for spells because our crit chance is just so bad. It's at 49.68%. Without the Nebulous, we're at 46%. So getting any crit chance is highly helpful. Want to get this number as close to like 70 to 90% as possible. So when you press your flash, you should be around 90%. That's just not the case right now. So you can see, if we don't crit, it feels really bad. If we don't crit, we don't freeze, and it also makes it really dangerous. That's how come we sometimes die in maps. So the helmet, we still have the same one. Now, as I always say, make sure to get the aura enchant on your mana reservation if possible. Or I guess life reservation if you run some really weird setup. But I have some really weird anomalous arrogance setup with 250% auras and a precision on it. But you should always figure out your own setup so that you're reserving as much life as possible. This might not be fully ideal. Like say I wanted to swap this around. Let's see if this actually works. So could this setup be more efficient? So right now we're trying to see if we turn on all our auras, if we'll have any life left over. So what aura am I even missing? Oh wait, I'm supposed to swap over Grace with Herald of Ice. There we go. So Herald of Ice, can we actually turn on Grace? And the answer is no. So that setup would not work, right? So you would just want to figure out a setup that allows you to get your life pool as low as possible, because that means we're using the most efficient use of our life pool. So 124, so we could obviously increase it a little bit, but normally people run like Arrogance and then the 3 Purities, but this actually gives you more damage because these are DPS auras. So you have Precision, Zealotry, and Grace. Ideally, actually, this should be Haste. So if we do it like this, you can see that this would actually benefit us more because we get more aura effectiveness on the Haste. So actually, making this video helped me figure that out. So that's actually pretty good. But this amulet here will probably be replaced soon. I want to really get an aura on the amulet. However, it has 34% multi, so it's pretty hard for me to actually like try to replace this, but we'll see what happens with it. It does cost a lot of money, and I should probably be stopped spending money until I buy a headhunter, especially since the belt might go up in price a lot. Prism Guardian is still the same. I was considering getting maybe a corrupted one with fizz damage taken as cold or something, or lightning, but there's a lot more what's it called, Call of the Brotherhoods now. So if you want to see the corrupted ones, you go here and then you can sort through them. And basically most of these are not too impactful. Obviously stuff like this is pretty much just like free like damage reduction for Fizz. It might not be a lot, but it does help. +1 to stock of the gem. So you can see the most expensive ones is going to be like this. There is a Grace Aura one, which is actually kind of surprising. I mean, there's another one that's physical hits taken as chaos damage, which is pretty bad. So there's 2 up right now. I don't really know. These ones usually go for a lot, but last league these went for like what, 20, 30x or so, but in this league it's a lot harder for that to happen. So make sure for a lot of these items, most people are never even able to sell them because no one has this much money, right? No one has the capital or money to put 10 exalts. This is actually a really good Prism Guardian though, but it shows you that even at 10 exalts no one is willing to buy it, which should tell you something. But next up we have, what's it called, the Call of the Brotherhood. Still trying to get an aura implicit. I'm not sure if anyone has one yet. Let's check it out. So slowly every day this gear just slowly starts to appear more and more, but usually, so no one has corrupted one yet. This belt is actually pretty good. I don't know if I was wearing this belt last time, but I was able to use a Harvest Divine to get the Chaos Res to perfect. So I actually have 15% Chaos Res, which means that maps with Hunter is a lot more safe, and then also doing Awakener is safer. So at this point I should rarely ever die. However, I do die in maps, and that's honestly because of this issue, where if you ever get on right here, you see if you get to a ledge or corner, your spark actually stops firing because it's like it just goes into the wall or something, so you don't have sparks coming out. So if you ever like get into this and you cast into something, then it won't go around you. So it's kind of shitty, but it's just one of the bad parts about the skill, which is why Spark is so good in wide open areas. Now we have Asenaths, and this pair of gloves is pretty much, I think, really insane for Spark. If you don't have 5 Pierce, these gloves make up a lot of the clear, and you can actually feel pretty good using 2 Pierce, because this is what you get for Anomalous Spark. Now the problem of using Anomalous Spark is that you don't get 20% projectile speed, and our build is pretty short on projectile speed. So in order to fix the chaos resist issue, I did get another one of these I-84 clusters over here. So this cluster I got chaos res, some armor, lightning res. So all the other stuff is pretty useless. This is pretty much just a 35% effect and chaos res jewel. I think this person probably auged defense and just got unlucky and hit armor, or he just rolled it like that. But I bought this for like 2x or 2.5x, so I think it was a pretty good investment to fix the chaos res. So you can see like this jewel cluster here gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25% chaos res in one node, and this node is not even T1 chaos res. So you can see you can get an insane amount of value from this. You can get up to 30% chaos res from one cluster. The chaos res is not really something that's that big of a deal once you have the money to actually upgrade your character. But basically, I still want to get a different large cluster. I think I'm going to go for a Blast Freeze Vengeful Commander one, because this is not really that impactful. It doesn't really gain us charges on bosses, mainly just for mapping. But for mapping, you can gain all your charges from this node right here. 3% chance to gain a Power Frenzy or Endurance Charge on kill. Pretty much just bought this at the league start since it was really affordable. It was like 30 chaos. So a lot of people are wondering about this build, and this is actually one of the items that's more expensive. First among Purposeful Harbinger, it's like 6-7x. If you buy Replenishing Purposeful Harbinger, it's actually even more expensive, since Replenishing is half the weight of First Among, so it's 2 times harder to roll. But I got a lot of spare points, so I put it into this node right here, because this is actually 50% crit chance for spells and also 40% multi, which is incredibly efficient for points of damage. And then I also decided to take this point right here, which gives us 5% pen due to pure talent. So pure talent is not too bad if you decide to take the 5% pen node. And then lastly, I got this overcharge node to get some power frenzy and endurance charge kill generation. So when you do the delirium maps, you'll pretty much always have power frenzy or endurance charges up at all times. But basically, this is the tree. I do have more points to play with as I'm higher level. So if you don't have the points, you'll probably drop either this cluster, you would drop right here, or you would not use 6-point clusters, and you would just use 5 or 4, since those are technically more point efficient. Oh yeah, I was also able to solve the problem of running Spark because I'm able to run an extra aura because I'm using self-control Purposeful Harbinger. Now the reason why I'm using Purposeful Harbinger is actually 8% aura effect if you're running 2 heralds at a time. So that's why I'm running this, because this is actually greater than using a notable of 6%. So self-control means that we can run Malevolence, because I actually am not running that much RMR jewels. So you can see here, I'm actually not running one here. I'm not running one here. I'm not running one here. And I'm not running one here. So I have 4 jewels that are not RMR. And I'm able to pull that off because I am running one of these notables. So if you're ever struggling on a budget, just get a self-control Sublime Form and get a Voices, and you can make up the aura effectiveness that way. Or once Glorious Vanity gets cheaper, you can also do it like that. Now in this section, I'm going to talk over the starting cost of the build, right? So I went over a lot of the pieces of gear. And in reality, if you wanted me to ask like how much my character's worth, my character's probably worth around like what, 50x or so, 55, 60x. I do have some really expensive gear that's kind of useless, like this item right here, RMR Unnatural Instinct, that's like 10x. So the thing is that it's really hard to actually price all of this stuff. I bought these clusters, Purposeful Harbinger, these 2 Purposeful Harbingers ones for 150 chaos total. And right now they'll probably run you like 15, 16 exalts total. And then 6-link shafts, stuff like the uniques don't really change in price, but the cluster jewels are pretty wide varying, especially the really, really rare ones like Purposeful Harbinger ones. And then the double multi RMR jewels are also really wide varying if you get multi RMR or double multi later on. And then these ones, if you ever get reduced mana reserve, they're also very wide ranging in price. Any unique jewel that is rare that has reduced skill reservation will be widely varying in price because the stock is so low. Also, a lot of these items are a lot more expensive during the nighttime when I play versus like the daytime. So if you're trying to buy items, there are peaks and lows to when the item is cheap and expensive, and it varies widely. So if you buy them late at night, right before Europeans wake up, you will be paying a premium for sure. So one way of making money in the past was I would buy 3 passive point Voices for like 55, 60x and sell them at night for 90x, right? And that's just like some nice arbitrage. But overall, the best way to approach gearing up a beginner aura stacker, if you want to play an aura stacker, is start buying all of the stuff. And if you can, you should have live searches for the first among purposefuls, because these are the most wide varying in price. And if you can find a good deal for it, like 1 or 2x, you should definitely snipe it up. But other than that, you can start buying like the 6-link shafts, stuff like that never really changes much in price. The Prism Guardian, the Call of the Brotherhoods don't really change. The Alpha's House doesn't really change anymore. It's mainly the rares, like this amulet could vary widely in price. You can set up a search for like reduced reservation of skills and crit multi, or you can make your own later on. Then you can also buy stuff like Might of the Meek and Intuitive Leap, because you pretty much will not be using RMR version of these for your budget build, as these are like 15-20 exalts of RMR. And then you can buy the 6 passive point clusters. These ones are pretty expensive, like 2 to 3x minimum, so you can set up a live search. So if you want to start the character, you have to set up the live searches. You want to buy the gear outright that's relatively will never change in price. I don't know how much Transcendent Flesh is now, so this item never really changed in price. So you can buy a lot of the uniques and the stable price items, and then as you near the end, you can sell off all your gear and then afford the last bit. But make sure you have every single piece of gear before swapping. Like a lot of people ask me, like, can I have like some of the clusters? But the answer is no. If you don't have every single cluster and you're not at 300%, you're not going to have 90% all res, and you're not going to have 43% pure physical damage reduction. And without that physical damage reduction, you're going to be at like 10% physical damage reduction. And it's pretty much like you're walking around the map with like 3k HP, no armor, no defenses, and all you have is like some evasion chance. You're going to die 100% of the time. So that's just something to keep in mind, because a lot of people do ask me that question. It's hard for me to give a real answer. Bottle Faith is an item that has not really changed in prices. It's still 5.5x. So if you keep an eye on the price, you'll know that a lot of these items are pretty stable right now, but they could also vary widely. These boots are still around the same price. So just buy the pieces bit by bit and then sell off your build at the end. Make sure to have a little over left so that you don't actually short yourself and are unable to buy a cluster or something. But if you just stick to the main pieces last that you know are the same price no matter what, then you can do it like that. But it is pretty daunting to start off the character because you do have to buy so many pieces. So pretty much just spend all your money. Don't upgrade your current character anymore and just set aside a fund. It's like a rainy day fund for a house or something. But that's the best way to transition to an Aura Stacker and to answer the question of how much does an Aura Stacker cost to start off with.
Hold each other high, but we fall 1,000 times. But I'd never say goodbye or ever leave this stuff behind. When it's good, it's amazing. When it's bad, it's uneasy. I wouldn't have it another way. There's no other way. Yeah. When it hurts like this, when it hurts like this. When it hurts like this.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Play me like a bass guitar. Simmer down and mess me up. Tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford. Shivers down my spinal cord. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got
again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friend.
So I just showed like a shaper invitation of this build with like Enfeeble and Resist. You can see that the build is pretty durable. It doesn't really get owned by anything that badly unless it's like multi-prod stuff. But overall, I think Spark will be really good. Next videos, I'm going to talk about the money making methods, because at this point I'm probably going to go into like farming, and hopefully I have Headhunter. I probably will farm without Headhunter for a bit just to showcase what it will look like. But just a sneak preview, it will be this region, New Vestir, or this region. Lyra Ardain, I'm considering doing Plateau or Ramparts for the Simulacrum Splinters. And then New Vestir is always going to be Burial Chambers. And the nodes I'm going to be taking are these. Maybe I can do Exiles. I think having 20 extra Exiles for the Delirium thing will be very, very good. So there's going to be that. And then this region, if you want to do it, you want to take the Breach and then you want to take Blight, because this Blight gives you more monsters. But basically, that's just a download of what to expect in the coming days. But I hope this video has helped out everyone who is trying to play an Aura Stacker and who might be trying to upgrade their gear. Because in the beginning, I went over how I'm going to upgrade my pieces, and then in the second part, I went over how you can save up and the best way to approach swapping to one or from another build. But if you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. I do try to stream every day. But thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do, and see you next time.